Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome once more to another All About Windows Phone video insight podcast thingamy with me, Ewan Spence, here in America at South by Southwest and the Nokia 620. You might recall I was doing a video diary on this as we take it around the halls of South by Southwest Interactive Film and Music. One of the biggest conferences, lots going on. Give a real world review of the 620, right? I'm going to look at social media today, how it works with that and everything. But first of all, there were a couple of questions that you left in the comments back from part 1 of the video, so let's quickly go through them. Biggest one was, why did you choose ATT as your network and not T-Mobile for a prepay? Simply because I've used ATT before. I came over, I thought I could get the $2 a day talk and text and data plan. Turns out they don't add data into that plan anymore. So I really should have then left the store and went and tried and find a T-Mobile shop, but it was late at night and they were closing in 10 minutes and I went, you know what, it's going to work. It's for 10 days and it's there. So that's the reason why. Partly momentum, partly needed that second. Will I look at the 620 versus the 820? Yeah, will I look like a pirate? Yeah, but we'll probably do that as a text one when I get back from America, putting the 620. It's sort of next to everything, the 820, the 920, the 7 and the 520 as well. Have I seen any Lumias in the wild? No, but I have seen quite a few HTC 8Xs or probably 8Xs. There might be 8Ss, but they looked quite large. Interestingly, although there's lots of talks about Galaxy S3s, there are some of them around. This conference is pretty much iOS. There's iPads everywhere. A couple of people using their phones. Not a lot of people have the mini, mostly the big iPads. This is the sort of environment that certainly the geeks are working at. I suspect that will change when they all leave Interactive when we get music at the end of the week, and we'll watch to see what the people who aren't geeks are wearing and using and all of that. Why have I not installed Skype? Because I don't install Skype on any of my mobile devices. If I'm out and about, I don't want to be dealing with work stuff. How selfish is that? You want to get in touch with me, you send an email and stuff. Maps, you know, I have got maps set up for offline. Did I specifically mention that or not? It's just something I automatically do. So yes, the local text map is on there. But to be perfectly honest, it's really easy to navigate Austin in my head. I've been here 9 years now. So in terms of bar names and street names and addresses, it's all on a grid system. It's all relatively easy, but it is there for when the bars change their names, like Elysium's now Elysium. It used to be called something else, but and so on and so on. So social media and the People Hub. And this bit's kind of disappointing, to be perfectly honest. These video diaries, we've been doing them for a long time, both at South by and whenever I go to other large events. And back in May 2011, the HTC Trophy 7, this is right before All About Windows Phone. This is just, we knew it was going to happen, so we did the test anyway. And it promised quite a lot, especially the People Hub, the fact that you could pull in Twitter, you could pull in Facebook, you could have this sort of unified social media section. The same way that, you know, unified email boxes are becoming really, really good and useful and expected. It looked like this was going to happen with social networks. And since then, not much has changed, to be perfectly honest. There's some tweaks in how things are laid out. You get a little bit more information about the content of the messages, but really nothing new's been added apart from the Chinese social network sign of Weibo. And it's really disappointing because when it works wonderfully. When you just switch it on and go to your People Hub, go to your Me tile, and then swing over, and it's all there. It's wonderful. But the second that I started to do that here at South by, I found that I needed more. I needed my DMs on Twitter. I needed to check the other account for the South by Southwest blog that I run. You know, and better Facebook. Yes, your IMs pop up in the messaging client if you've got it turned on and always polling, and the result hitting battery life and bandwidth. To me, long term, the People Hub and the notifications are just a disappointment because I really believe that the engineers have put all the hooks and all the codes and everything in place, so it would work. So it would be easy to put in other services, but I'm not seeing them. Foursquare, 51 weeks of the year, I find Foursquare absolutely useless. But here, where I've got a huge density of friends and we're all pinging in, checking in on Foursquare, being able just to walk out and go, where is everybody? Bing. Oh, there. I know where that is. And if you didn't, you could press click. It takes you there, but it's not in the People Hub. Neither, as I said already, they're Twitter DMs, not in the People Hub. So the second you use this wonderful interface, you then suddenly have to go to a third-party applications. And let's be brutally honest, the Foursquare client is nice, but it's a couple of generations back. The live tile is not great. I don't even think it has an alert system for the live wallpaper. It's good, and it's really good back in Windows Phone 7, but Windows Phone 8 is just not kept up with the pace. And the Twitter client, well, I've discussed that before online. It's just poor. It looks like every other Twitter client, but every other official Twitter client is poor as well. And this is annoying for me as someone looking at it long term. But I think somebody who's coming to the system fresh, to be told, well, you can do some of your Twitter and some of your Facebook in the UI, but to do the other stuff, you're going to have to get a third-party application. And then we're back into the same sort of image that we have with Android, which is you lose that consistency, you lose that fluency, and it's just another plain old screen that looks exactly the same over every devices. And I think Windows Phone can do a lot better. But at the same time, the People Hub is really amazing, and when it works for getting app messages and so on, it really, really works. And part of me is now going, this is a point in the review where I would go, we'll watch for improvements. But I said that in May 2011, and we said that throughout 2012, and there hasn't been. I just don't like the fact that you're forced into the third-party applications, and it's not been improved when it should be. And I believe all the hooks and the codes are actually there. Social media on the 620 is a better experience than iOS. Let's get that straight. It's slightly better than Android when you get to stay inside the first-party apps. When you have to go to the third-party apps, I'm very tempted to say Android is actually improving it. And of course, that's before you start talking about, oh, do you have Path? Do you have Instagram? I'm just talking about the big ones here. So it works, but I feel jaded and disappointed. How about that? There we go. Right, so the 620, just in general, loving the size, by the way, loving the battery life. I'm a bit worried about power button. It just seems a little bit not 100% responsive. Sometimes it's taking a little bit longer to respond, but we're going to look over that, and that's something we'll be able to look at the end of it. It possibly just could be my fingers are just covered in factor of 5 billion sun cream, so it's making it quite slick on the screen. But we will talk about all that later on in this series of video podcasts. For now, your comments are welcome. www.allaboutwindowsphone.com. I'm Ewan Spence. Thank you very much for listening. Catch you in the next podcast.